David Arlett, Gen Xer Reacts, and I have here the full-length version of the video on the Greater Idaho movement, an extreme right-wing organization supposedly based out of Lapine, Oregon, who wants to literally rip Oregon in half and make it part of the state of Idaho, to have a verdant right-wing paradise where there are no homosexuals, communists, socialists, Democrats, people of color, LGBTQ, you name it. On my shortened video, and I will post also some additional videos in the description box on this extremist organization. I will also play the full video and do a little bit of fact checking on a gentleman named Mike McCarter, who is the founder of the Greater Idaho Initiative. During this video, I need to caution you, there is strong vulgar language. He was created very hostile crowd, not crisis actors. We are not being paid by George Soros. We are the people who have to live with the fact that now a lot of Western Oregonians are extremely mad at us for voting for this nonsense that can legally do nothing. Gentleman's name is Mike McCarter again. Again, if you could give it the thumbs up, because these people like to go in and downvote and get videos taken off the air. Again, my camera's not the best, and also I think it may have ran out of batteries towards the end, so we'll see. This was done August 27th of 2024, by the way. Also, there's one lady that was sitting next to me who was kind of rude at the beginning. She didn't want to be filmed, and I'm looking at her like, lady, if you don't want to be filmed, put a face mask on or cover your face like this, but don't sit there and snarl at me like it's my responsibility. There were cameras everywhere recording everybody, okay? The lady in front of me wanted to not want to be identified, so she wore a surgical mask so you couldn't see a lot of her face, which is the way that it should have been done. She mellowed out towards the end once she figured out I was on her side. These people have ties to white Christian nationalists, aka neo-Nazis, and so a lot of people are absolutely terrified of them, which is why they want to remain anonymous as much as possible. But this is a public meeting in a public building, and I was most definitely not the only one with a camera there. So, again, sorry for pausing this, but you'll see me put my hand up like this, trying to blot out people who kind of didn't want to be identified or anything like that. So, this is all about. again apologize. I happen to have a shake that I think my mother drank too much alcohol. My dad, the same thing, had it too. So there's going to be parts where this is pretty shaky, and the sound quality may not be the best. There is supposed to be a meeting later today. It's 3:45 in the morning on August 28th about with the Greater Idaho in front of the county and everything. I will not be able to make that meeting just because I am so exhausted. We've still got over an hour and a half left to go. Go, sorry, move that along.
Let's go ahead and get started, folks, so I don't keep you here too late. We'll answer questions and so on. My name is McCarter. I'm a third generation Oregonian, veteran here in Idaho. Lived in Oregon all my life, spent 30 years in the nursery industry, retired from that. I'm a professional firearm instructor. I teach violin and licensing. And I started with New Oregon's order from day one. And I'll give you some background. It's not a sales pitch or anything like that. I'm just going to give you background information right now. And then I'll take questions. In 2019, in the fall, a small group of grassroots citizens from Josephine, Jackson, Klamath, and Deschutes counties came together in a pizza place.
By the way, many of those counties have voted against joining Greater Idaho.
In the Pine, where I happen to live. I saw a flyer on bulletin board about it coming together, and at the time there was a lot of people that were upset with Governor Brown and the way things were going on in the Oregon legislation.
By the way, that has since changed. Originally, they said they were upset over the election in 2020. Now that that's pretty much been proven to be false and fake news, they switched it to being upset about Governor Brown of Oregon. And it was interesting because I pointed out in one of my videos that they were upset over an election that hadn't actually occurred yet because they started their group 3 months before the 2020 election. So how could you be upset over an election that hadn't happened yet? So he has completely changed that narrative.
And the way Central and Eastern Oregon were sort of being ignored and not listened to about the problems. At that time, we wondered what we could do. I do not know. Come on in. I do not know who came up with the idea that, well, maybe a solution would be to move the border and to allow Eastern Oregon, or rural Oregon at that time, because it included the southern counties of Jackson, Josephine, Coos, Curry, and others down there. Those were the original ones in the state of Jefferson movement. But somebody came up with this idea, and we thought, well, that sounds pretty good, but we want to find out how the other counties feel about this, because there was only 4 or 5 of us for those counties. So we came up with the concept of getting a measure put together, and we just wanted to ask them, if you have the opportunity to move the border and become part of Idaho, Secretary of State rules, an initiative petition by the people, you can't ask a question like that. It's got to be a legislative process.
That's what the Oregon Constitution says, by the way.
In other words, we had to create a law in each of the counties in order to get it on the ballot. So when you look at the ballot,
They actually didn't create laws, they had advisory questions, and they ended up creating an unfunded mandate by forcing meetings to discuss the possibility of relocating the border.
measures that are out there, including the one here in Wallowa, on it, you think, why isn't it just a point blank question about joining Idaho? Well, we had to create, and sometimes it took 10 or more rewrites to get the county clerk to approve what we were asking.
Because what you were asking is unconstitutional.
Now, a couple of counties, now that we have 13 counties that have approved this measure, a couple of counties, like Weaver County, point blank asked the question, do you want Weaver County to be part of Idaho? And 59% of the people said yes.
Yeah, okay, that's special elections where most people, vast majority of people, don't vote.
On that ballot measure. Crook County, the most recent one, it just passed. That was not our measure. I have been turned down more than 10 times by the county clerk to get it on the ballot, and couldn't get the wording right. The people of Crook County said, we want to have an opportunity to vote on this measure, so they went to the county commissioners. I was at that meeting. There was about 70 citizens that told Judge Crawford that why can't we vote on this? And so he talked to the other commissioners, and we put it on that. That measure passed. I.e., like in Wallowa County, Crook County, a Portland organization outspent us in Wallowa County 3-1. They outspent us 5-1 in Crook County, and it still passed. So,
Again, because it was an off-season vote. It was not during, say, a general election, and I confront him about this.
where are we at right now? The Oregon legislature has spoken on this movement and/or trying to get a discussion started about how rural Oregon feels the direction that the Oregon legislature has taken us. I spent several times over in the state talking about polls or talking to legislators. In 2023, the Democrat House Representative Caucus passed a phone call and said, we will not discuss it at all, point blank. And
Yeah, because number one, what you're trying to do is actually against Oregon's Constitution. And number two, the vast majority of people don't want it. That's called democracy.
I talked to one of the representatives over there, and they said, you're not even listening to our problems that we've got over here. You know, whether it's wolves or potentially losing diesel, all of the kind of things that are going on. And he says, Mike, we hear what's going on. We just outvote you. Now, that just probably hit my face.
He got his feelings hurt, and so that's why he's doing this, to punish the Oregon legislature, because he feels he got slighted.
If we have an issue, ask citizens in the United States to go to our representatives and say, we feel there's a problem. And our representatives run into that wall in the legislature where they're not listened to. Senator Finley, Representative Owens, in the central part of East Oregon, that's what happened. They said, we're not even gonna try. We're gonna try. The comment came out, we're gonna try to make it that's better for us. So we're gonna
Say
take
that over
it
again.
across the line.
Excuse me, say that over again.
We're gonna make it less better.
Less better, what is less better?
Well, it means less of what we want, we're gonna work better with the other side to get whatever we can.
Yeah, oh, you ticked them off, and they fund 80% of the budget out here. Okay, that would be like going up to your parents, slapping them in the face, and asking them for your allowance. Duh.
So we're not gonna carry the message forward. Okay. Now, most of the measures that come out of the Oregon legislature are focused around the most populated areas, which are the rural and Willamette Valley. I don't blame them. That's their choice. They feel that, i.e., like Measure 114, if guns are banned or removed, then maybe the shooting will stop in Portland.
That's not what that was about. That was about machine guns.
Some of us feel differently about that particular issue with it. So, hey, they're trying to pass another one that will end animal production in Oregon. They didn't get enough
No, not true.
signatures on it. I believe they'll try to go back for it.
And it will be voted down by everybody in Portland because it's an extremist left-wing measure that nobody wants to do. It will disrupt and destroy a lot of Oregon's economy.
That's their right. That's what they want to do. Now, the representatives, they're also representatives in the legislature from the most populated part of the country. And they need to do what their constituents want, or they don't get reelected, because that's why they're elected in the office. So, we run into that stone wall, and it's about 45 days ago that we sent a letter to the governor just asking if we could sit down and talk about the issues. And we have not received any word back. In the gubernatorial election or campaign in 2022 in the fall, all three of the candidates said, we realize there's a problem between urban Oregon and rural Oregon. And our current governor said, I will travel through every county and talk to people and find out what's going on. She has gone through most of the counties, and it's been closed door, not pre-announced.
Wrong. Back to a big old article in the Wallowa County Chieftain not that long ago with the governor of Oregon here in the county, and everybody knew about it.
Meetings, not meeting with the general public, in and out and gone with it. So, my role as the president of Blue Oregon and Citizens for Greater Idaho is to get the discussion started. Now, it may not end up in a board of adjustment. It may end up in some other form. I have no idea.
Because they're running out of money, that's why he's saying that.
But we, as free Americans, First Amendment, we can get up and speak. We can have representation. We can ask our representation to be heard in the legislature. And let's go back to the founding of America.
How they always do that, wrap themselves in the Constitution and the flag, and I'm a veteran, though he does admit later he did not serve in or anywhere near a combat zone. As did millions of people, including my deceased brother-in-law. He served during Vietnam, but actually was stationed in Turkey.
What was the problem with the American public, whether you were American, with being under the governments of England? Lack of representation, too much taxes, right? And how did that end up? It ended up day one, when the rural areas order and Greater Idaho, we said we will not do anything illegal. We're not gonna break down windows, we're not gonna start fires, we're not gonna block traffic, or anything else. We're gonna do everything so we're accountable, and we'll do it as truthful as we have.
Lies. Oh my God, the lies.
Facts. Because
And I will actually fact check him here a little bit in a minute and just show you the one of the many lies that he has said.
when I get done with this, I want to look back at it and say, we gave it a best shot.
You know what? I don't know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to figure out why I'm here listening to you. The reason I'm here to listen to you is I've spent 40 years in Idaho. I'm going to try to keep my hand down on the side. You're trying to get me to do something I don't want to do. Okay? Not only that, a lot of other people haven't spoken out. I want to know what your, lack of a better word, you get your bitches.
My bitch.
Yeah, with specific things. Give me something specific. You mentioned 114, I get it. Don't we have to see legislator?
What about 110?
Okay, I get 110.
Okay.
I get you.
What about recreational marijuana?
What about
Wait just a second.
No one here to be.
You take my rights away when you say shit like that. You take my rights away. And you're sitting here saying the First Amendment, we all have rights. Bullshit. If you're a woman of childbearing age in Idaho, you die first. And I am not going to allow that to happen to my nieces.
Let's go back. I said you can't talk when you get excited like that. Let me talk for a minute. I'm going to say something. 40 years I lived in Idaho. Water, Texas, owned 3 ranches. Guess what? They tried to keep my land away over there. Look up Valley versus Idaho County, or closest county there, right across the river from us. Look it up sometime. County commissioners with your guys' friend, Judy Boyle over there in Idaho, you probably know who she is, working against me in my own county to take a private road for me. Now, I'm not going to go into that whole scenario. You can look it up. We went to the Supreme Court. Whooped them twice. Changed the state laws over there in every state in the West that ever had a homestead. Based on the fact there were people around, excuse me, without putting the finger at you, just like you, that thought they could take my land from me. Lied. Wrote affidavits. Went to their state legislature, tried to land for me. 40 years over there. I'm one of the state Supreme Court. They kept appealing it to try to break us. We sold, brought our assets to Wallowa County. I can see it from Heaven's Gate over there. I'm going over there, where I can do it at any one please. So you say, that it's a fair deal that you guys have dreamed up to try to screw us over. I'm telling you, there's a gerrymandering thing there to move the political positions around.
Basically, what he's referring to is Boise Republicans are slowly losing their power because Boise and Sun Valley, Idaho are slowly turning Democrat. So they want to basically absorb counties from Oregon and Washington State to try and bump up the number of Republicans so that they can stay in power.
Which are already, Democrats are already in the left side of that. We don't really get what we need all the time. You're talking about 110, 114, they could be amended. When I saw those things on the ballot, I thought, this is trouble. That's what I thought, this is trouble. But it can be amended. Maybe it's on the way to a compromise. Okay? And I've been around wolves. I lived over there in the San River for 40 years. These little petty things you're talking about. You have a state legislature, and a legislator to represent you. Well, I don't want to move over there. I will guarantee you that I other agenda. Your agenda is Confederate and states' rights issues. That's where you're at. And I'm not following no, I'm in history.
Basically, what he's saying is this guy is trying to do the Civil War from the 1850s or 60s. Good Lord, my history teacher's rolling over in her grave. But yeah, he basically wants to fight the Civil War all over again.
Buff in a history profession. You're coming from the same deep dark spot that a lot of them dummies back in 1865 had to be corralled to take care of. You're one of them. You bought into that. I'm against you. And I will fight you all the way to anywhere I want to go. And where you want to push me to the door, we can try to get along on 14-110. Because that's the only bitch I had in the last election. That's the only bitch I had who were really strange for people to be some people who come to the rural areas. I get that. But trying to move my border, I moved over here. Okay, my medical insurance over there, $500. Here, $0. Almost a week here. 15 years over there. My wife has problems female-wise, she's got to come over here. You're way out, man. And along with your group, I sent a letter to your group today. I can tell. Look at what your positions are. And I don't see anything you're bitching about. It doesn't make no sense to me at all. Why would you drag me into it? That
Because Mr. McCarter got his feelings hurt by a legislator or legislators, and he wants to take it out on the state of Oregon by basically cutting it in half. That's what I get from a lot of this.
That's the reason I'm here. Because I don't like you bringing it up. I don't want to be watching TV and relaxing. I just came from Hood River today. But I'm here because I give a shit about where I came from and laugh. And you want me to bring me back there. I don't know. It costs me nothing to put money over there. Dinner to a ranch. Kids buying their own pencils over there for my kids in Idaho County. Meanwhile, down the Meridian, they have swimming pools and all kinds of crap. You guys know something about Governor Little down there? You better do some research on him. I'm going to tell you, he's in somebody's pocket, and he's turning into working man.
A quick question for you. I went through your Secretary of State.
Just a second.
I have 3 issues that I feel comfortable bringing up right here. If you like Idaho, please stay in Idaho. I didn't move to Idaho because I don't like Idaho. I don't like their medical care. I don't like what they've done to women's reproductive health rights. I don't like what they've done to people who are looking to get trans health care, especially people who are 17 and under. And I really don't like your proponents of more opioids and less THC. It is proven time and time again that THC limits the use of opioids. You say you're a veteran, my guess is you might know a little something about PTSD, and I don't think all the drugs the VA wants to throw at you and I are the answer. So they're just medical, huge. What are you going to do for us regarding medical? Who's going to pay for it? Because my income will go down when you move forward.
Okay, the first of all, the zero healthcare, paying, who's paying for it?
Medicare and Medicaid get paid by all of us. And it's all, I don't know if you need this. Okay, also on the bridge down Wallowa County. Thank you, Mr. President. Guess what? Idaho, Highway 95, they're driving all the way to Greenville at 100 miles an hour now. It used to take us years to get over the Lewis from Idaho. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. You really don't see the things we get out there going down the road with us. Medical care, and the perfect hospital we have over here, and everything like this, it's zero. Zero. That's fine. But here, it doesn't cost me anything, because I won't be selling my ranch, or my house, or my pickup, or my tractor, to go ahead and get on reporting health care. That's me. The next guy on the road, you want to help me? I don't know. And I ain't in that section. I'm in that section we don't have to pay. And I don't give you $500. I already know that I pay Then you're starving to death over that place.
You can bring up what you feel about this, just like you do. But don't you ever accuse me of being a Confederate.
But that's who you are.
I fought for my country.
It has nothing to do with the Civil War and states' rights. It has nothing to do with I fought for my country. I said I was a vet.
My turn. Okay? When I left during Vietnam and came back 7 years later, with the attitude from the general public that the military was baby killers and blah, blah, blah.
By the way, he was actually stationed in Korea, not Vietnam.
Oregon changed. In 7 years, Oregon changed. I love Oregon. I bleed green. I do. I do not want to move to Idaho. I want to change the governance in Oregon. Change the governance, the direction that they're going. Because you haven't seen anything yet. How do I know it? Because I go to the county, I go to the state capital, and I talk to the politicians. They tell me what's coming down the road.
That's what they say about Tuesday.
I can tell you right now, I have a personal friend who is an Oregon state legislator who represents Portland, or part of it. And at any rate, what he's saying is full of crap. I also know what's coming down the pike. Probably more than this guy ever does. Okay? And it's just fear-mongering. And it's all they have is fear-mongering and hate.
Alright? Look, see that board? See what you signed there? You say you're not, you love Oregon?
I do.
Look, you better look at your sign, man.
I think Oregon is the most beautiful state in the world.
But it's right, you look, continue your regardless of the same line. Look at that. Look where you wrote, that's your sign.
Okay, you've got your experience living in Idaho. I can't deny that because that's your experience. So I'm telling you what I have heard coming out of the state legislature. There's another measure called Measure 118, which is going after taxing businesses again. Businesses don't pay the increased taxes. They take that and they hand it on down to us. We have to pay.
So what about the 9% sales tax in Idaho? Who pays that? Oh, we do. Duh.
And people say Oregon doesn't have a sales tax. You look at the corporate activity tax. You look at people who are working right now, they're paying a transportation tax in enterprise to help transportation in Portland.
Okay, I live in Wallowa County. I have no idea what he's talking about.
That's what we're doing.
It's all about sharing the wealth around. That's how we do it. Just like when you go get your Medicare, I assume you're on Medicare. Okay, I am too. I don't want you to get sick and cause me more money problems down the road. Like all of us here, we'll share that together. So that we don't have problems. I'm not going to convince you the difference between being a Republican or being a Democrat. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, even if it doesn't sound like I've ranched and farmed my whole entire life. Got 2 college degrees and invested just like you. I'm just saying, man, I see what I read. I see what it's on television. I see, and I've been following you particularly, because when I got into this Oregon border deal, I tried to figure out who the hell the leader was, and it points to you. You say you're the president. We're the rest of the folks.
There are 2 of them here, and there's a bunch of them that are behind the scenes, which are Oregonians too.
If they're behind the scenes, why? If you're doing everything above board, why are they behind the scenes?
One owns a business in John Day, another owns 3 businesses in Pineville, all Oregonians, all fighting.
Why do they want to move forward? They're trying to do it. Did they sick too? Yeah, I'm not getting blind you're sick. There's something twisted about this mentality. Well, another thing is I did some research on the state constitution today.
Yes, he's shaking his head, but dude, you're the one up here who is, oh, poor me. I got rejected by the legislators, and so I'm going to drag everybody over into a new state line. All they play on is fears, poor me, I'm the victim, Everybody's out to get me.
And I'm kind of a Civil War guy, all right? And in 59, when they made this from a territory to a state, Idaho couldn't join on yet, they were still part of Oregon. But there was a loyalty clause behind because the Southerners wanted to stay. They wanted it because a lot of Southerners were moving there. And they didn't want it to become a slave state, which he damn near became before it was made into from a territory in the state. So there was a loyalty clause, like Idaho had to sign in, what was it, 89 or 98, because so many Confederate veterans moved over there, they couldn't control them up in the north. I mean, talking serious shit. It doesn't go away.
What happened in Western Oregon in the 30s?
In Western Oregon and
Western Oregon in the 30s. And it's the biggest Ku Klux Klan area west of the Mississippi. So I can't control what happened back then.
Me either, but you can control what's going on right now with you.
But you know, yeah, when they formed the state of Oregon, there was one representative that represented all of the eastern part and voted against joining Oregon.
I know that.
But it was
I read
not,
that
right?
today. I read that today, yes.
Yeah,
I read
it was
that.
not voted.
Well, it's not voted. In the story, this is what we have.
But
Same group that I wondered.
stop and think about this. You disagree with me. You disagree with the movement. There's facts over here that disagrees with what we're saying. But we're here talking about it. Now, why doesn't that happen at the state capitol?
It does, by the way.
Don't just ask me.
Sir, actually, I have a very good friend of mine who is an Oregon legislator, and it absolutely does happen at the state
That's
capitol.
me, by the way.
You claim to know what's going on behind the scenes. I happen to have a friend who represents southeast Portland and a tiny sliver of northeast Portland, and they absolutely do discuss the issues of what's going on here. What I have not heard, a couple of things. Number
Trust me on that one because I absolutely make him aware of what the issues are here, and he actually does know them.
one, Idaho's 9% sales tax. On my 2018 track, that would be $5,900 in extra taxes. For the average Oregonian, that would be $134 every week in more taxes. And you say, oh, well, they'll just magically get rid of the taxes or lower our, no, they have to pay to change all the road signs around, to pay all these extra costs now that they're gonna have to come around. You also claim that Western State Strategies has outspent you. According to the Secretary of State, Oregon's filings, they have spent roughly $89,000 on this election cycle. You guys have spent $215,000, almost a 2-to-1 advantage.
These figures.
Oregon Secretary of State filings, and I'll show you some of them.
It's called Secretary of State, Oregon filings on the internet.
I put them in there. I put those figures.
Okay, I added up every single donation.
15,000 over 4 years.
Sir, you got $100,000 in one day. Where did that come from?
Actually, it was 115,000.
Who gave that money to you?
All of our donations come.
You hide behind an NGO and you list the NGO as the donor, but you don't say who gave the NGO that money.
What you need to do is go back and look at the figures.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a little fact checking. Who's right, who's wrong? Oregon Secretary of State contribution cash $115,000 cash donation. Address book business entities citizens for Greater Idaho. Their address in Lapine over here. That is all that is listed. Does not tell the name of the person who donated, how they got the cash, and what it was spent on.
Look at the time periods as small units. And when it came in, I tell you what.
Sir, it's not my responsibility how you spend your money. If you spend your money irresponsibly, that's on you.
What about
have this super majority, why all these special elections that the taxpayers are paying for? Why all these meetings that can legally do nothing, can't alter the borders? We are now paying for it. It's called an unfunded mandate. If you want to look things up, we are now paying for this. Greater Idaho organization's not paying for it. And why all these special elections when you know the majority of people do not vote in special elections? Why not this November, when 90% of the people vote?
Do you believe in the 50+1 vote?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it was 7 votes beyond 50%
Yeah.
in Wallowa County.
Yeah. After the third time,
Second time,
lost 2 other times.
no.
Yes, you did.
It didn't.
Yes, it did.
I'm the one that heads that up. I know darn well. Wallowa County.
And by the way, I got that information from the editor of the Wallowa County Chieftain, and I looked it up myself. They had lost twice before. It took them 3 times to get it to pass by 6 votes.
You were also voted, if you talk about that big thick study that talks about all the economic benefits and stuff like that, all of the counties that will get economic benefits to joining Idaho, they've all voted no. The vast, except for I think Wheeler County. You never answered that. What about my house value that's going to drop by more than half when it moves to Idaho?
Go to our website if you care to.
Oh, I do. I just went to your website to confirm this meeting.
Let me finish.
Sure.
I let you talk. Okay, so let me finish. Go to the website. Look at the economic impact study that was done by Claremont University. Not us. We didn't do it. And look at the figures that they say on there. And the tax issues and everything else. Look at it.
What's that old saying, figures don't lie, but liars always figure?
Do you know right now, out of the list, $690 per year per wage earner out of the west side comes to Eastern Oregon
Right.
to help fund it.
And you think Idaho, with 1/5 the budget, is going to give us the same amount?
They fund their counties differently.
Right, they put a sales tax on them.
Not only that, the state, I don't know how it is in this state, because I haven't had kids in school in a while. The state endowment fund, the schools over there. Back when it was, I was logging back.
Don't start me on the schools.
I don't know, maybe we should start in the schools.
So,
Figure out what you're thinking about.
let me give you some facts on Oregon schools.
Okay?
They're
Kind of like the other facts.
abolished their graduation requirements because their graduation rate is one of the worst in the nation. Now, I sat in a hearing and listened to the changes in the state law. There is no truancy anymore. Kids do not have to go to school. They cannot be cited. The parents cannot be cited for it at all. It's stopped with it. They cannot enforce the tobacco laws on the campus anymore.
That's absolutely not true. In fact, Oregon just raised its age to smoke from 18 to 21. The hell is he talking about?
Because Oregon abolished that law.
There's a federal, you're spinning shit on me now. You're spinning stuff right now.
I'm telling you,
Don't
Ray.
spin stuff with me, man. That is bullshit. There's a federal law against kids getting tobacco, that's for sure. Okay? All right, whatever, you can just live in your
I disagree with
reality.
you because I sat and listened to it from a juvenile detention person who heads up Hardy County, told their commissioners the changes in the laws and what they could do and what they couldn't do. They could not have the police arrest them for vaping, for smoking, or anything else on campus. The schools can establish a rule for it, but they can't have them arrested or get in trouble in the juvenile courts. They can sue and take them out.
What happens in John Day though? Let's put it that way. You're from La Pine. What happens there? When kids don't go to school and they vape. What happens there?
They just don't go to school.
Well, I've been talking to my county commissioners, like these guys around here.
But they can't do anything. Their hands are tied.
you said, I wanna go back to something. Today I've gone on your website. Okay? I'm looking at it. You know what it says on there? And it shows the map, like your hat. Wallowa County in rebellion. Isn't that what it said? Well, Eastern Oregon County is in rebellion. That's what it said. I don't see that. I'm not in rebellion. I'm only in rebellion against, and I'll use the word again, Confederates. People who are willing to separate from the Union or the state because they don't get their way. They don't get their votes. I'd be calling my legislator up on the phone like I do Cliff Vance. I'm a Democrat. I send him a certified letter. Make sure he signs for it so he knows what I'm thinking. Every time I've sent him a letter, he's responded. Even though he's across the fence. I'm going to tell you something. The gate swings both ways. You better get with the gate. Swing both ways. Get this out of your head, move on, and you'll live longer because you won't be worried so much about people taking shit away from you. Okay? Because you're worried. You're concerned.
I'm not worried about anything.
You're not? You're worried about us.
No, I'm not worried about you.
You're not?
So,
Oh, we want to keep it the same then. Go on, go back a little bit.
The people of Wallowa County voted.
7 people.
And it didn't worry me one way or the other.
5 of my family members never showed because we didn't know to show up that day, and that would have been 5 more that wouldn't have been on the list for you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
My name's Meg. I live here in the county. Thank you for coming out all the way to the pond. I know it's a long trip, it's a great trip though. I'm going to say trip. First thing I want to acknowledge is that you were almost beat by people who baked pies against you. I was part of the group. I remember Idaho. No, Greater Idaho. We baked pies. We were no part of Western states. We had no control over what they were doing. Frankly, it was irritating to us because I didn't want to get that shit in my mailbox. I didn't want that interference. I wanted to do this on our own. I'm damn good shit. So I want to hear you acknowledge that you almost got beat by a bunch of ladies making pies from Wallowa County. Right? We make great pies too. I want you to know that. Second thing, we're doing our pie options here. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the maternal mortality panel that was established in Idaho 2 years ago. Please tell me about that.
I can't.
Would you like me to tell you about that?
Please do. Please
Okay,
do.
I will, be happy to. So my background's in healthcare, it's a love, and healthcare policy. So, Idaho has a big problem with maternal death, maternal fetal death. But our whole nation does. This is a terrible place to have a baby. Really, this country's a terrible place to have a baby right now. It's really bad.
I can tell you as a registered nurse, she's absolutely telling the truth on that one. We do have a national problem because we have no universal health care.
I don't want to be one of the worst. So a couple of years ago, a group of people said, we need to figure out what's going on. So they conducted a panel, and they looked at every death that happened, maternal or fetal death that happened in Idaho in a 1-year period. You look at that? They were all women of color, or they were Native women. They were houseless, they were in addictive situations. And you know what they did? They had all the opportunities in the world, and all of the data was right there in front of them. This is what you need to do to keep women from dying, doing something we've been doing for 10 in the morning, right? They had all the opportunity to do that. You know what they did? They disbanded the panel. No problem. I don't want my children to raise children in Idaho. I don't want them to have that health care. We have outstanding health care. Outstanding health care here in this county. We are blessed beyond measure. But the health care we have here, an amazing hospital system. We're so lucky. But I can tell you one thing. If this became Idaho, that would be a ghost town. Because you're losing your residency programs over in Boise. FMRI, tell me what some research, they're closing. They're not going to have residency program because people are running from the opposite, they're running away.
Spokane, they're running to Spokane. It's where they're running to.
Well, yeah, because there's no right. Care anymore in northern
Four
Idaho
lanes,
at
same
all.
point, they want to run across the border.
It's terrifying. My family's from Edith.
By the way, I'm putting my hand up because she kind of had indicated to me she didn't want to have her face filmed.
County. My grandpa was the ag agent there for years and years and years. My brother was born at in Moscow. I love Idaho. It's beautiful. I want to be there. So, thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your input. Because I'll go home and I'll look at it.
Please.
just like I'm talking to you, I'm not afraid to stand up here and take the accusations, the disagreements. I want to see it taken to the next level, okay?
You want to see it in Salem?
Yes.
Okay, so if we can get you to quit putting this in our face, maybe we can get something done over there. But you say you rejected that before. So I have a problem with that, whether or not you're willing to accept a compromise in relation to two big things for you, 114 and 110. That's what you brought up. And I agree with you on 114 and 110.
I started to bring up a few more things before somebody got upset here, okay?
Issue.
Eastern Oregon voted almost 2-1 against recreational marijuana, and now the dollars are rolling in, and it's bought. Okay, so
Now that's because a lot of people here have access to THC, edibles, marijuana, are getting relief, and they're telling all of their neighbors and friends, and now all of their neighbors and friends are like, well, gee, maybe I should try it.
now, yeah, okay, the marriage, one man, one woman, Eastern Oregon, by 60-some% voted in favor of that. Our vote does not count in Eastern Oregon. It takes less than 50% of Wallowa County's vote to cancel everything out.
My vote doesn't count in this county at all.
Please explain that to marijuana vote again.
And I never voted for one man.
Eastern Oregon, and we can go back and we can look at it, voted almost 2-1, 66% against recreational marijuana. But it did,
Wallowa County passed it.
okay, but we're talking about, it. I'm saying, that was an example, it did not matter what our vote was, because it was canceled out.
That's not true. Every single county has the option to not have medical marijuana here in Oregon. Okay? He's absolutely wrong about this issue. If Wallowa County didn't want a medical marijuana, we don't have to have it. But the majority of people here said yes, and so yes, we have a marijuana dispensary, one in the town of Joseph, Oregon.
By the Portland area.
But, sir, counties have the choice. Counties have the choice to not have marijuana in locations. Some places have said no.
I'm not saying for or against, I'm not.
When I lived in Idaho, believe me, in Idaho County, I go back over, we own property over there still at my own ranch. I had sold a piece of my father, he passed away. So I can go back and forth over there. Holy cow. Anyway,
They're all coming over to Ontario.
Yeah, next time you go, exactly, you see all the schools like that, they don't have license, I don't know.
What I'm saying is there is a different philosophy over there, and you're welcome to it. I mean, but I don't understand the trying to get the whole half the state in over there, I don't get that. And I don't know why Idaho would want to send a plow truck clear to Pilot Rock or, good Lord, Christmas Valley to help plow the roads when they can't keep their own truck working now. Like a 500 miles of snow plowing in one night, I don't get it.
I don't have any reference to that.
You know,
I appreciate you giving some others an opportunity to speak and ask questions here. So, it seems to me a core issue is what I'm hearing from various meetings and when reading the websites is you're not being heard. People in your group, people with your values, which might be different from others, but are not being heard at the state level. So what is your specific strategies? What have you tried to accomplish so far? And then what are your strategies to try and change that? And really get to the core of the issue rather than moving the border, which opens up a huge set of unknowns, other problems, unforeseen consequences, all that. So just, why don't we work on the real problem which you and your group have identified and are passionate about. So tell us more about that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, to me, that's it. It's representation. Being able to speak up on whichever side that you're on. And right now, our side is not being listened to in the Oregon legislature.
That's absolutely lie. Wrong, and he knows it.
Not quite true, sir. I'm sorry, but my friend of the legislator has said that you guys have had more than your time in the legislature.
Let me finish.
Well,
Let me finish, please. If that were the case, you would have hearings going on, you would have a task force, you would have a governor who says, come over and talk to us. But it's not.
She did. She did come over and talk to us.
And when the other side over there says, we're not even going to discuss any of that activity. We don't care what happens over there. We just outvote you. That's what they're doing.
but sir, you also have not answered my questions. Who gave you the $100,000?
You'll have to go back and look at that.
Sir, it says right in there, it just says your NGO. It
And
doesn't say
where
who.
did it come from?
Exactly.
No, it says it there.
No, it doesn't.
I disagree with you.
Okay, let's look at this again, shall we? Where did it come from? Does not say, gives an NGO name and a P.O. box number. Does not say where it came from.
Because I fill out those ordering reports.
They asked the tribes what they want.
Pardon?
Excuse me, I'm gonna say it again. Nobody ever asked them. What did the tribes think?
What does the tribe say?
Yeah, the tribes. One Spring tribe, Utah tribe, Nez tribe, all of them. They're all people here too. They've been neglected over the years and never looked. And now it's time maybe they're on the warpath again. You best be paying attention to what they're saying.
Do they have the opportunity to vote?
That's a question between you and them. I'm asking you whether or not you've been broached by the Native Americans in the state.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's a good point. I got a note from them today.
He doesn't know. He's the leader of this organization, and he doesn't know whether they've contacted Native American groups on what their thoughts are. And then, of course, he'll change the story.
Okay, and you best be careful. When you get them in a religious frame of mind, you best be watching out. I'm telling you.
I'm not starting on the road with Native Americans.
Then you need to get with them, because they're part of the state
I
too.
have talked to the Warm Springs tribe, who looked at
He doesn't know, but now he's talked to the Warm Springs tribe.
their hunting rights all throughout central Oregon, from the Columbia River to California, is all of their territory in there. I understand that. The reason we haven't even come close to that is because the Native Americans are under a federal system for the most part. Okay, it doesn't affect whichever state. It's a federal
A
issue.
lot of them live outside the rest. So, outside of that, I know I deal with it in our irrigation district, for instance. All right? We're in the middle of this, 12 years down the road. It gets complicated. I see their points on things, big time. A lot of neglect and very little collaboration over the years. When I see on your website you're collaborating with them, then I'll figure that you're dealing with other people besides just white people.
Right now, what good does it do me to collaborate with Native Americans?
You can support what you do with us right now.
When I can't even get an ear.
I go right down there, rent a room down there at the Wild Horse and invite them all up. See what they say. Careful. That's all I can say.
I tell you what,
Excuse me.
if I were Native American, and I'm not, okay, I'm Caucasian, how do they feel they were treated by the white men?
Well, they got record to prove what they got going. Right now,
It was terrible, right?
Yeah.
And they weren't listening to you. And they brought it up and everything. I feel the same way. But I cannot emphasize, I can't feel how they ever felt with it.
But this new issue, this one affects them. This is a new issue for them. And they're starting to get some ideas about it because it keeps building, see, just like in your website. I don't mean to monopolize the dialogue here, all right? But I did a lot of research when I came here. It doesn't mean I'm right. Your website sways and spins the amount of support you're getting. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you said in the website, says a rebellion. These counties are in rebellion. That's what you imply. I don't see that. I'm not in rebellion against anything but the manifesto that you guys are trying to get across. Okay? Everything's been fine since '59. A lot of changes have happened in the state that have been real positive for a lot of people. Now, they might not be all positive for you on this side of the divide, but we live pretty rural out here, and a lot of the things that affect the other side of the state don't affect us over here. I get that. Still got to work.
Quick question, something more positive a little bit from me, so you don't think I'm the devil incarnate. Which counties are you going to next in kind of a time frame, and what's your ideas on that?
In other words, what counties are we going to next? Was that your
I
question?
think you've got a couple of counties that are in gray on your map, and so I just curious what you're going to do next.
Here's what I thought.
Okay.
This is going to be a bit of a doozy here, and he also is not completely honest.
We're not all positive. We're not trying to push it on anybody.
Then why did you ram it down our throats 3 separate times until you finally got the result you wanted?
Josephine County voted twice against it. The first time was our ballot, the second time was the commissioners. Lost by 2%. So be it. Same with Douglas County. Same way with it. We want enforcement on it. So we said, well, maybe it's just an Eastern Oregon situation because 13 counties did voice an opinion somewhat in favor of looking into the possibility.
See how he's trying to dance around this little issue? Oh, we just want to talk. We didn't. Really? You have a big sign there that says "Move Oregon's border." Seems pretty plain to me.
And or sending a message to the state that if 13 counties in Eastern Oregon, the only 2 not would be Umatilla and Gilliam. If 13 counties is not enough to say, let's sit down and talk about it, what good is 2 more going to do?
That's because they're out of money.
So
So we're not going to have any more counties at this time.
okay, so to play devil's advocate, you said Josephine County voted twice and you stopped there. We voted twice no, and you kept it going until the 3rd time, so you got the result you wanted.
Well, the leaders in Josephine County want to try it again, not us. The people in Josephine County, just like
No. See how he's trying to play? Oh, it's not us. It's the people that want it. Really, dude? Then why, if the people want it so bad, why don't you do it during a general election when everybody votes?
the ones in Cook County. We didn't push that on them. That was the people that went and said, hey, they want to have a chance to vote on this because they want the issue on it too. So as far as our movement, we are not intending right at this time to engage any more counties.
Okay, but now to play devil's advocate again, okay, I too am a registered nurse, okay? My sister wanted me to move to Haley, Idaho, one of the more expensive areas of Idaho. Would have cost me $25 an hour to move there from Portland, Oregon at the time. You want us to all of a sudden now accept making $7 an hour on average less?
The fact is that less than 2% of the population in Idaho work at minimum wage. Most people work at a higher wage because that is the only way businesses find qualified people is to pay a commensurate amount of money to get them to go to work for them.
Then why did 3 of my co-workers move from Idaho to Portland, Oregon? Because of the poor wages in Idaho. A lot of nurses can't afford to get up and move, and a lot of them would if they could get out, and make more money in the West Coast, as opposed to Montana and the Dakotas and other states that don't pay their nurses a lot of money.
But sir, as a registered nurse,
I'm a proponent that says there should be no mandatory minimum wage. Let business say, hey, I've got a fence and $40 an hour, they get that person to work on.
So you're gonna have nurses getting paid substandard wages again, like my great aunts.
So, this may seem really simplistic, but I need some help. I've been in Oregon for all my life, and I like it here. And I like Wallowa County. I know my guy, that's why I don't live
Right.
here. So if you move the borders, why do I have to move? If you don't like Idaho, just stay there. Don't make me move. Who's gonna pay for my move?
My sister, who used to live in Haley, Idaho, who now lives in Olympia, Washington, said that she really liked and enjoyed Idaho, but she said, but it's not for everybody.
Pay for the decrease in the property value. Who's gonna bear those costs for something that I am not?
It's actually a takings. You know what a takings is, right?
Okay, I don't have all the answers to how, we're not part of the negotiation of anything that comes about.
Make a case for something to happen, I hope that you would have some answers.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what I say about it, whether or not we're grandfather this in, water rights, property rights, they're coming after your water rights. They're all, wait, stop. Have you seen it in the news where they reclassified the definition of water rights at Oregon that says the water is not yours, it belongs to the public? And so they've gone into the Willamette Valley, they've shut some little operations down.
Because, that's the Oregon Constitution that says all water is public water. You can't just throw a dam up on your property and collect all the water while all of your neighbors who happen to live downstream watch their property slowly turn to desert.
Gardening operations down and said, you can't operate any longer because you don't have a water right on that
But,
water.
sir, that's in the Oregon Constitution from a long time ago.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I would love to answer a bunch of these questions, but I think it could be grandfathered in. I am a states' right. I believe in states' rights and the federal rights. I think the federal's in the area where they shouldn't be in a lot of cases. But more than that, I believe in county rights. That the counties should have more power to do things because they're there with the people. They live in that area. They're elected by their locals and stuff. But as far as answering your questions, I don't have an answer for that.
But there needs to be some sort of thought about.
Yes.
Something as simple as changing my
You see, and this is why I say he got his feelings hurt, and so because he hasn't thought out to the end game of what's going on. He doesn't really want to, and he has said it directly and even indirectly. He doesn't want to leave Oregon. He just wants attention from Salem.
car registration and license. Why do I have to pay for that if somebody moves the border against my?
Well, I've thought about licensing, whether it's vehicle licenses, or vendor license, or real estate license. Well, like I say, the water rights, the difference between the two states right now. But understand, Oregon's border and Greater Idaho is trying to get the parties together to start talking about this. And first level is that the state of Oregon, the state of Idaho, the House of Representatives has passed a memorial and sent a letter to the state of Oregon and said, you want to talk about this?
And they laughed him right out of the way. And one legislator actually says, tell them to give us Boise and Sun Valley in exchange and we'll consider it.
Sir, the Idaho Senate refuses to take it up for a vote. They think it's a joke, just like Oregon's House and Senate.
Just a second. So I'm trying to answer to you that whatever I can come up with as a potential answer could be a total flat lie, because I don't have the authority to back it up. I don't know. My organization, Move Oregon's Border, Greater Idaho, I just want to get the discussion started, because and then I'll make suggestions. If they get a task force together and say, hey, it may come down to a statewide vote at that particular case. All the details would come out. I don't know what that would be like, okay? So,
If it's worth it for you, if you have, say, if you get 60% who are in favor of moving the border, is it worth it to you to have 40% of the people not wanting that?
and that is a good question. But on the other hand, almost 59% of the people in 13 counties, averaging out Wallowa County into the group, are unhappy with what's going on too.
That's not true.
The answer would be to talk to each other.
Agreed.
And if you don't like, marijuana, okay, yourself.
I don't feel like
So isn't, if I
Dude, you've already shown your hand. Yeah, you don't want marijuana and stuff like that. And because you think that we share the same values, you brought that up. And then once all of a sudden everybody literally shot you down. Now all of a sudden, oh, I don't have a position on that. Really, dude?
I like it, isn't it all right for me to have it and you not to have it?
it all comes down to 50+1, whoever votes. Well, sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
That's the way our democracy is set up.
You're not.
Not my own, eh? Okay? That's from Salt Lake City, man.
Okay, they're not just the same.
I heard you say you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. I really want to say thank you for your service.
I don't want to misinterpret, please don't misinterpret what I said. I was in the service during Vietnam. I did not go to Vietnam, I went to Korea.
Oh, there we go. Now he starts telling the actual truth.
Thank you for your service.
I wanted to support and it was long, and then a long war. After that.
That's not my question at all. My question is, we're all the same age. You remember when you buy a car, you buy that car, and somebody writes a number, and they put the paper, and they put it across the table, and you look at it, and you look, and you write your number, and you send it back, right? Who's all done that with one car? I've done that. My husband was for me. What's it say on the paper for the price tag for all of this? If you were to write a number on a piece of paper, fold it over, and send it to me, what's the price tag? Because I can't make a decision unless I have some kind of a folder. What kind of money we're talking about? To me, it sounds like a lot of money. What's the money? Do you have an idea?
I don't know.
Back envelope guesstimation?
Okay, there's a figure that's come out that says, how did Idaho buy the lands? Okay, understand, more than 50% of Oregon's land is federal. So that, nobody's buying anything, that's staying federal with it. Only 3% of Eastern Oregon is Oregon's state lands. 3%, okay? The rest of it's private, that you own it. Right. So, the facts, the figures, this is a complicated process, is it not?
Very.
Then you should have thought about that before you all of a sudden started getting everybody to vote, let's leave Oregon.
And it may not lead to that process. But can we sit and talk about it at the decision level about where we think things should go on? That laws are being passed that affect Portland in a positive way, What is gonna happen?
We passed the law. Because we vote for it.
The voters pass the laws, not somebody, some boogeyman in Salem.
What
No,
about?
it's people across the state that
I'll
vote.
agree with you, but if you look at the numbers of voters just in Wallowa County, if they vote one particular way, it cancels all of Eastern Oregon out.
Not all of Eastern Oregon, because not all of Eastern Oregon is right-wing Republican.
What I see happening is you feel minimized, and rightly so. Your voice is not being heard over in Salem, and I believe that. I believe that. You are feeling minimized, but as a result, you're minimizing the rest of us. That's the way I see it.
Okay?
So,
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I think this is wonderful to have a discussion, but I believe that it goes in the wrong direction. We need clarification on what you mean, what we mean, and what we believe is right for our area. Now, we are going to send a nice gentleman from Wallowa County to Salem.
Yes.
And we may be right there with him and helping. People need to join civic groups that make resolutions that will go to where they want them and work them out. To talk and to confuse the people, and all you can think about is my tax property will go this way. You need to be more specific with what you're saying. I spent 20 years in the state of Mississippi, starting in education of the beginning of immigration. It was a wonderful education, not only the school, but the people. And people need to know where you come from, why you want this, why you think we want it, when we may not want anything to do with it. And the only thing I hear since I've been here, I think it's been 15, 20 minutes, is confusion. So explain things thoroughly. Because this is not going to work like this, because people don't want to have to change their address, they don't want to have to change their car tag, they don't want to have to change their wages, and we want to know why we want to do this. I was in school here in the 50s, and they were still wanting to go to Idaho. There are times people need to work at things in a little different manner. And this is big.
What I think she's referring to is this is a recurring fad that, we're just going to rile everybody up, and then it's going to die down after a while and go away. Now that Trump's election has been shown conclusively, election claims about 2020 have been shown conclusively to be a bunch of hogwash that has really sucked the wind out of them. And now that he's taking all of the money that should be going to groups like this to put their ballot measures out there and stuff like that, now they're all coming up broke. And so now they're all stuck halfway to the finish line and have accomplished nothing. But now Wallowa County has to pay for these meetings that legally can do nothing.
Yes, everyone needs to get to the table. Everyone needs to talk, because everyone is important.
Okay,
Everyone.
thank you. When I started out this evening, I said a few citizens from 5 counties sat together and came up with an option. But we wanted to find out what the counties, the people in other counties, how do you counter the fact that almost 60% across 13 counties voted in favor of some type of discussion, looking into, or promoting moving the border.
Because they did it during special election times when people historically don't vote. 15, 25, 30% at most vote.
Not me. I didn't do it.
Oh, of course you had nothing to do with this. You just founded the entire movement and you just said it right at the beginning. I founded the entire movement with my 5 little friends, and we all went together, and we just thought that we would make ourselves internet famous, and we would get a Wikipedia entry so that we can claim that we did something before we died, other than just dying anonymously like any other normal person does.
I went out and I asked, but how do you feel? Now, if, and I may put this in bad terms, so forgive me, but if, for whatever reason, Oregon went to hell in a handbasket, government-wise, okay? And it was hard to handle certain things. It was hard to handle the COVID shutdown and things like that. Wouldn't it be nice to maybe have an option out there to look at and say, okay, here's an option?
So let's just create a bunch of chaos, because every time we want to, let's just adjust all of the state borders to fit the political maps of the season.
The old way of, and Mr. Dash, pardon me, Senator, to me, the old way of 1 senator per county, so you have equal representation, east and west, would be great. The Supreme Court struck that down in the mid-60s. They said 1 vote, 1 person. If I were in that particular Supreme Court talking and say, wait a minute, why do you have 2 U.S. senators per state, no matter what the population is? So why can't we have 1 senator per county, no matter what the population is? And that would balance things out, and it would allow it to be a discussion that said, maybe a bill that somebody wants to pass.
So the 19% of Oregonians who live east of the Cascade Range should be able to block a bill that would benefit the 80% of Oregonians who live west of the Cascades. That sounds entirely fair. To whom? Him and his group?
It's like I say, how's Portland now? Counters how we are. Maybe Portland says we don't want diesel anymore in the state because of the smell and the green issue and everything else. How does that affect us over here? And I am over here on this side of the mountain. Okay? Now, may I say that I'm not a true Eastern Oregon person. I live in Central Oregon. I live on the outskirts of Bend, which is sort of like the Portland of the East now. It is just, it's gone crazy.
Which is ironic because his hometown of Lapine is actually west of their official map lines. So if this were to somehow come law and actually happen, he actually would not be in Greater Idaho. He would still be an Oregon resident. But I would be forced to become an Idahoan whether I want to or not.
Price, housing-wise, everything. Really. I love Oregon. I really do.
Yeah.
So, we put it out there.
I want to love Oregon so much that I want to spit on every Western Oregonian by passing these measures, because I have a lot of family and friends still in Portland, and they are absolutely livid about this Greater Idaho group. They feel like they pay the majority of taxes we get 80% of our budget met by them paying taxes. And we literally, it's like, I said it earlier, going up to your mom and dad, spitting in their face, and then asking them for your allowance.
Counties, to say, county folks, what do you think about it? And that's what the vote came back with. And our state legislature does not want to pick it up and talk about it. So what are we supposed to do? Just go along with it? How is our voice?
Quick question, you say 60%.
Just quit?
You say 60% of the people are in favor of this, but that's only 60% of people who vote in special elections, which is very small. Why not do it during a general election when 80 to 90% of the people vote?
We have no choice on that.
That's a lie. That is absolutely a lie. They absolutely could put this on a general ballot during a presidential election season. But they know too many Democrats will vote, and they might vote, yeah.
Yes, you do. Absolutely, you do.
Some of those counties voted during the general election. Whatever cycle they follow with it. Anyway,
Thank you for your time.
How is this being different? We're going back to this, not collaboration. We just got off on collaboration. I get that. You're idea about that, that makes sense, because I don't want to say, I ain't going with you no matter what. I'll roll under my property. But what is the difference between that and actual taking, which I've been involved with before? The takings. You're taking my private property away. You're letting me go to do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm just saying.
Then the rest of the ones you're involved with are just going to take my private property.
In other words, shoot the person who came up with the idea.
I just think about how I would, no, I don't say to you that.
Oh, I'm just a poor victim. Oh, dude, you're the leader of the group. You came up with the harebrained idea. You can't be both the creator that everybody loves, and I'm just a poor victim.
I own a piece of property. It's worth X. My life is involved in it. I'm farming. Now all of a sudden, I'm farming differently because somebody told me I have to. When I came over here to farm a certain way and be a certain way and put my kids in a certain school, to me it amounts in parallel to what we call over in Idaho when the government would come in and try to take your property and do a condemnation. Because I've been involved in that before. Instead of just taking a whole ranch, you just want to use my road. Which is the difference? What's the difference?
I can't answer that because I don't know the particulars. I don't know what you're going through.
Takings.
Okay, I believe what you're saying. I don't disagree with that. I don't understand why whatever it was.
I think she had
It's very simple.
She won't say that, of course.
I don't even monopolize it.
But I admire your oxygen list.
My wife said the same.
My name is Melissa Bush, and I'm relatively new to this topic. And I heard you mention a lot of various topics like thought, sex, education, water rights. If you had a magic wand, what is the one thing, though, if you had to do one thing, what is it that you want working legislatures to hear? What is the one thing you want to be heard on? And I would think you also want something changed. What is the one thing that's most important to you?
The one thing I want is somebody like Mr. Nash who becomes a senator that goes to the Senate and what he says is a problem over here being totally ignored and marginalized. I want him to have that ability to stand up and for those folks to listen to. No, because we're bringing the issue out from the grassroots up, from some of the people, what we feel is being stopped, stonewalled, forgotten, we don't care. What I'm hearing from one side of the legislature there, because when we send people from Eastern Oregon or Central Oregon, no matter what party they are, that goes to Salem, they need to be heard.
They need to take time. You think about the civil rights of the United States and how long people took to change things. And just getting on and saying, well, I don't want to be here anymore.
like a little kid when they don't want to be with their family anymore.
How do you get the rotation?
I think it takes time.
How do you get the, you know, if they go on the opposite way for 20 or 30 years? The legislature, this coming session, gave me, on one side of the legislature, gave me a supermajority. They only have to listen to the other side, they can pass whatever they want passed. You know, that's the way it's set up, the democracy, so be it. I'm saying that, I would love our representatives, our senators to come from Eastern Oregon, Central Oregon, to make a difference and for them to listen to.
As long as he's the one leading the group. I bet you that's the caveat there. Because the lady mentioned, you know, we've got gentlemen going to Salem and to bring up some problems, but of course he doesn't want to hear that.
We'll say, Portland, you're trying to change something, you're trying to, whether it's Measure 110 or no bail on you know, people that are arrested and stuff like that. That may help you out over there, but it may hurt us over here. So would you listen to us and take that into consideration when you pass the bills? Because it's not all about where the majority of the people are in the state. We're all out there.
It's about me and my needs and my wants. Listen to me. Pay attention to me. I'm the victim here.
I think it's sort of to keep trying rather than just get up from the table, because one disruption leads to another and another and another. We might need to be patient about whatever it is, these things that we don't like, but just to get up and leave and to bring all of this with you,
Basically, I say, if you don't want to listen to us, if you don't care, just like a step shot, if you don't care about it, then let us go.
What does that mean?
Pardon?
What does that mean? Let us go.
Well, then you've got 2 or 3 movements out there that want to create a new state.
Jefferson, this one.
And by the way, most of them have either been voted out, voted down, laughed out of the room. Somehow he's getting enough funding to at least start this. Probably can't continue on, which is, you know, whatever.
Jefferson, there's a state of Eastern Oregon out there now too. So, you know, I'm just, we're trying to get the talk, the discussions going.
So basically, this is kind of like a persuasive, hate leads with threat. It's kind of like a motivational movement. It's not real, it's just kind of motivational.
It is a focused movement. Again, I'll say, if you don't want to listen to us, you don't want to take any.
I think that's what happened in this last, like he was talking about the people not voting.
Okay, right, hang on a second. I have a question, patience and
so when you say that the goal is to have this kind of discussion in Salem, how do you picture that? What does that mean? Does that mean you said you go to Salem? Does that mean how do you picture that discussion?
what I envision, and what I always thought of, is a task force.
Led by him.
A task force put together that has state representatives, state senator, people from both sides to sit down and to talk about the issues. To bring it to awareness up there so that, again, which percent, and it may not be, right now, it looks like supermajority potentially on the Democrat side, but it could be on the Republican side, whichever way it goes. You've got a Republican side of Idaho that's flip-flop of what we are here. To sit down and to talk about the issues, talk about bringing the awareness level up that we're all one state. There's a difference between this side of the mountains and the other side of the mountains. We don't realize that there's a difference. The lifestyles, the values, the open air, it is a beautiful.
Actually, not true. A lot of people here from Wallowa County are from Portland, and they do what's called telecommuting.
Place. Whether you're talking about, and I mean, I'm fascinated driving towards Joseph and looking up at the Eagle Cast and stuff. I'm fascinated where I live, looking up at the Three Sisters and stuff like that, and the other ones. And Eastern Oregon is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. But I love Western Oregon too. Right now, I hate the rain. I mean, we gotta have a certain amount of it over there, it's just too much. But I love where I live too. I just want to bring the awareness of it up with it. And again, I'll say it, if they don't want to do that, what do we do? Something, I have something that she's been waiting.
Hi.
I'm sorry.
So the 61% say of people that want this movement, why not just keep trying to pass the laws or whatever it is you're trying to do instead of enforcing Idaho's laws on majority of people that don't want it. Like, so you're just okay with pushing the 40-some% people that chose to live here for their reasons and didn't choose to live in Idaho to the coast because the coast isn't listening to how many other people are over here. Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem right, it doesn't seem fair. Like, this is the state, a lot of us live in the state for the state level laws, not just the county laws. And I get that they're all important, and I get that they all matter, but the problem is the county laws and how many other counties, 13 counties, and take those 61% people and take them to Salem and push what you're pushing for. Why push a whole other state over here and enforce your laws on people that it is not a benefit?
Good question. Okay. I look at the facts and figures and say, I like a lot of what Idaho has, but understand there is no perfect state in this unit. I don't care what state you're talking about, north, south, east, west, there's.
So then why drag us over to Idaho if they're not perfect? Let us stay in Oregon, and those who want to go to Idaho are certainly welcome to move over there. It's a very beautiful state. I've been there many, many, many times. But I don't want to live there.
We have
I like a lot of what Oregon has, and that's laws that pertain to my family, being LGBT, being black, being woman. What are you gonna do for my family?
Yeah, I can't feel what you feel, okay? Understand. And so I don't want
So
to.
you're just okay with pushing my family out because you're not.
I don't know if we should get out of there. You have to
I
accept,
can't live in Idaho.
well, not the way you're,
I know.
I don't know, I mean, being,
I would say, and I
Do you know
think
how many anti-discrimination laws are in your state for my people, for my community?
right, are you saying Idaho's bad?
For LGBT people in specific? Yes.
Okay,
Oh, absolutely, because Idaho does not have anti-discrimination laws. So if you're not in a federal job, say if you're in a state or even a local job, if you work in Mom and Pop's Burger and they find out you're gay, they can legally fire you.
A lot of people here might not care about that, but I do.
well, there's some people over here that have a problem with being in sports.
So the law
particular
protects us.
that particular issue there.
Well, then maybe they shouldn't Idaho. Why are you bringing Idaho to us?
Well, you're speaking for yourself, I'm speaking for
I'm
myself.
not speaking for myself.
I love where I live, I really do.
It's more than just that problem, it's obviously wages, there's a housing, there's people in healthcare that support certain things in this state that are not gonna support it because of Idaho's laws. So
we're just gonna hope and pray that it all works out. Screw what everybody has to live through. But since I'm a white heterosexual man, I don't have to worry about it. So ha ha.
First, you gotta start talking. You know, just
Would you feel that in your girl voice, you made her heard, if you would return word, say her county?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Would you feel that the girl voice would be heard better if Oregon returned to Senator Kirk County?
Oh, absolutely.
That is something that could be proposed in Salem. I mean, working within our state, within our system.
There are two hurdles there. You know why? Yeah. But you have to get past the Supreme Court decision first.
I don't know if you heard what the guy said, but he said we have actually never had in Oregon's history one senator per county.
And the Supreme Court would have to say, kick it back down and say, pardon me, folks, Democrats, pardon me, okay? I don't believe that the Oregon Democrat Party, will have control of the legislature, would vote that in and allow it in the state of Oregon. Because they would lose that control. All we're talking about is to balance out the state.
I like the idea of that one center.
It's a great idea.
I did research on this constitution, the state constitution, and it turned out, which surprised the hell out of me, that the state of Oregon has one of the easiest states in the union to amend the constitution.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
You probably read it yourself. And I think that's part of where you guys are going, is you clung on to that. And I don't flaw. It's okay with me. I get that. This is one spot where you're talking about with the senator deal, there might be a collaboration. So instead of one sort of stream, you know, I mean, there may be a resolution to this by collaboration.
Yes, that's working with our system, with our state.
You know, this,
But in the end, it's still, majority girls.
I
The big voice, you may have.
from the very beginning of this organization, I wanted to keep away from politics. I wanted to keep it in the values.
That's absolutely a bunch of crap.
What your values are with faith, family, freedom, and more importantly for me, self-sufficiency. I don't need the government to do everything. I want to be self-sufficient myself on it, because when the government...
But I want the government to give me my Medicare when I want to, and I want them to give me my Social Security check, and I want the government to give me my VA benefits.
Does everything for you, guess what? They got you. They can say, hey, you do this, and we'll take this away from you. So, but I mean, that's what I want to do. But now, please understand that Oregon is not the only state that is doing this. Illinois, 27 counties have voted to leave Illinois. Because Chicago controls the vote and control the whole state. New York has a problem because New York City does the same. I heard they contacted us about different issues.
I think we promised those would be about an hour. It's been an hour and 20, and I don't want to keep it too much.
I'm sorry, thank you for permission. Folks,
Thank you.
please feel free, you can grab my card, you can get a hold of me.
Yeah, so anyways, lots of lies, obfuscations, going back and forth. I love Oregon. As he's literally, the guy pointed out, standing underneath the sign that says, "Move Oregon's borders." At any rate, like, comment, subscribe, and share. For any news organizations that want to contact me, I will go ahead and give you the full access to this video without any commentary from me. I had to do it here on YouTube because I don't want there to be any copyright claims on this. Hope you guys found this educational. I suspect he had no idea he was going to get such a hostile response from local citizens. Again, we're not crisis actors, we're just local people.